Okay. Yeah, but let's go to the Lord in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much. We thank you for the opportunity to be able to serve. And Lord, we just thank you for allowing us to be able to have a meeting today, even after all the things that had happened this last week with our building and all. And Lord, we just ask that you lead and guide and direct us to get us back into that building and get us back to where we need to be to have some sort of normalcy about the department, Lord. Lord, we just ask you to take this commission, lead and guide and direct us, and give us the wisdom to do it your way, not ours. We ask this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Second.
Second.
Aye.
Got this, oh, there it goes. All right. So what we got a couple of things we want to talk about. First off, if you have any public comments, TJ's in back somewhere. Get with TJ so he can get it to us and we'll be able to move forward with that. Seafood labeling law, right now, we're still moving forward with that. What the situation is we're still trying to put our task force together. I would like to have a task force meeting and get some rules put together. And once we get some rules put together with a task force meeting, and then we will turn around and start being more specific about what you need to do. Now, I've talked a lot of different places, whether it's restaurants, where it's grocery stores, where it's processors, or people selling seafood. If you're trying at all to be able to help us to say whether it is imported or domestic, that's what we're after right now. Just keep trying. Anything that you can do to move forward that way to say that it is either import or domestic. Our goal is to get it all done to where it's publicized very good in every restaurant, every grocery store, every market, everywhere we do. But it's going to take us a little time to run with it, before we can do that. So give us time. And if you are one of those individuals that has a restaurant, a market, or a restaurant, or excuse me, uh, grocery store or something to that effect, please try every way you can to label your seafood the way it should be. It's either imported or domestic right now. And then we will work with you and get you exact details in the near future. Any questions on that, Commissioners? All right. Update on bottom oyster lease program. Well, yesterday the judge made a ruling, and he made a ruling that there would be a preliminary injunction, and it would be a preliminary injunction on being able to do any on bottom leases. And his reason was that it was unconstitutional because of the United States Fourth Amendment. And it's basically because number one, it said that it could be only Mississippi residents. And because it could only be Mississippi residents and we were doing it outside of the state of Mississippi, that was not constitutional. So what we're doing, I have no idea where it's going from here. I can tell you that what we will do at this point is we will continue to operate as if we have in the last 15 years. We will continue operating the same way we've been doing. So whenever we have oyster season, what we will look at is we will go back and our scientists will go back and they will give me data. And as soon as the conditions are right, we're talking the water, we're talking and everything else. As soon as everything is good and as soon as we think it's safe to do it, we'll open up oyster season. And we'll open up oyster season on 100% of our properties. And of what we feel like there is enough oysters there to do. So we'll do a preliminary look at it. We will look at the oyster reefs. We'll go back and see what each one of them has on it. We'll come back. Hopefully, I would think September, October at the latest, that we'll have some kind of idea of when we'll usually look at trying to open up our oyster season. And as soon as we get everything put together there, we will pick the areas. You know, I would think most of all of the western sound will probably be open, and part of the eastern sound will probably be open. So we will do that. We will try to set a sack limit. We'll try to do the same things that we've done in the last 25 years or whatever, and we'll try to get it back, and we'll try to get our oystermen back fishing. Any questions? Okay. 2019, 2020 Bonnie Carey update. There's no new updates on the 19 right now. The Bonnie Carey, we have approximately 3 million in the 2020. Eligible applicants were notified of the application process through emails, postcards, and press releases, social media, public information meeting, and text messages. Applications opened May the 2nd and closed June the 30th. 275 applications were submitted, and staff is still reviewing some of those. Once again, a little bit, if you don't know, the reason we're here right now is they shut down the Bolton building to do some testing and see if there's anything. There were some issues that we had with some mold in the building at one time, and we're trying to be able to mitigate that and make sure where it's at. So my whole agency is scattered. So we're scattered all over the coast right now. So to be able to have some kind of sense in how quick we'll get something done, it might be a little bit slower, but I promise you every one of them is going to work as hard as they can to get things done as quick as possible for you. And so that won't hold up anything. So we'll let you know as soon as we can get you some information on the 2020 Bonnie Carey as to when that'll happen. Any questions on that? All right. If you would, Neshoba County Fair last couple of weeks ago, July the 30th, over 600 people showed up that night for our seafood festival. So that our event, for the Gulf Coast event with seafood, had over 600 people, and about 90% of them were not from the Gulf Coast. So that's what was great, because we got to show our seafood and how great our seafood is all across the state of Mississippi, and people from a lot of places. So I want to thank everybody, the whole team that was part of that. They worked hard, and the cooking team and everyone else that worked with it. And I want to thank them all. And I just think it's called a red clay and sand mixer. And I appreciate that every year. This is our 5th or 6th year that we've done that. And it went from about 25 people to 600. So that tells you how much it's growing every year. So maybe next year, I think it's going to be in June next year instead of August. So next year, maybe if you want to come to the red clay and sand mixer, you can come up to Neshoba County and see what we're talking about. Any questions? All right, we have Gulf Council next week. We in San Antonio, so we start on the 24th and go all the way through the 28th, 29th. They'll be coming home. I'll come home on the 27th, but basically just looking at a couple of things. Nothing major there. As far as the Gulf Council and what we do in there and it affects us, the main thing that we're looking at right now is still our snapper season and how much we're going to have and the allocation that we'll have. And so what we're working with on it is we're still doing a MS Krill, which is running right along the MRIP, and we're trying to do that same test as we do all year, and hopefully we'll get something done and things will move forward with that. And we're hoping that we will be able to raise our allocation next year. Any questions? All right, if you didn't know it, and I don't want to mention it, but I got to. Next Friday is anniversary of Katrina. I don't like mentioning bad things, but it's 20 years, and it's the 20th anniversary of Katrina. So there'll be a lot of events going on and a lot of things happening. So just thank the good Lord that He's given us 20 years. Just think He's let us have 20 years to rebuild, because we started out, I remember very much right after that storm, that we thought about it, and our question was, how long is it going to take us? And we were saying 10 years at the minimum. Well, 10 years was nowhere near enough time. We're still rebuilding. Here it is 20 years from now. So just thank the good Lord that we've had this 20 years without a major storm. We've had some storms, but nothing major. And hopefully we can get 20 more years if we could. We will be closed on Labor Day, the 1st of September, for a holiday. The Biloxi Seafood Festival is September 13th in the Biloxi Town Green here. So we will be supporting that, and please come by to get a chance and see what's going on with the Seafood Festival. It's always great to have that. Our next commission meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 16th at 9 a.m. I have no idea where it'll be. And, as soon as I find out what we're going to do about the building, I'll let you know. If we're back in it, we'll do that. If we're not, if we'll have another location, we'll find something. And it might be one of these times that we go to Hancock County, because we try to do that once a year anyway or something. So we might just plan on doing something like that, or either Jackson County. So we'll look it up and see what we can do. Our derelict vessels update, we have 212 vessels cases that have been reported. 188 have been removed, 24 are pending, and 5 have received court orders. Any questions on that? Let's see. And if not, I don't know if there's anything else. If it is, I'll think of it in a minute. But then we'll just go to the actions update. Oh, I tell you what, how about employment contracts? Do we have any employment contracts? Yeah, fair. And we got 2, Elizabeth Kennard and then Victoria Lee. And both of them have just started with us, one in the licensing department and the other one in accounting. So glad to have both of them on. All right. How about actions update prior meeting?
Good morning, Commissioner and Director. Discussed at the July 2025 meeting, the Commission recommended and the Director approved a motion to approve the permit and requested variances for the City of Biloxi's Point Cadet project to fill 6.5 acres of water bottoms, tidal marsh, and sand beach. And that included conditions for management plan, coordination with the Coast Guard, and the inspection for subaquatic vegetation. Also, there was a motion to recommend the proposed changes to Title 22, Part 23, Mississippi Coastal Program to be filed with the Secretary of State for final adoption. And finally, there were 3 finfish records approved for Timothy Kennedy's 15-pound, 9.6-ounce gray snapper, Mike Oakland's 14-pound, 3.2-ounce permit, and Riley Arms' 8-pound, 15.2-ounce bonnet head. And that concludes our action items, Director.
Okay, we don't have to do any motions or anything on that, right, Sandy? Yes, sir. Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, with that, that's my report.
All right, sir. Thank you for the update, Director. Moving down,
Well, I would like to say, I kind of like this venue. It's awful nice, a little different than, I want to commend all the bureaus on who work they did to extra get out of that old building and, get out of that old building and we're back to work. We never lost a step, record. So just to let you know that. All right, let's talk about this old report. Now this, the 4th of July weekend is in this report. As you can see, the numbers are pretty hefty. I will say that it went smooth, if it can go smooth. I mean, it's we had one accident. One young man was injured. He lost his arm, but they were able to reattach it. Other than that, we checked 2,600 people that, or actually that month, but I would say half of those were on the 4th of July weekend, you know what I'm saying? But we're looking at, we had 5 tails of scales violations. That's to be expected. You know, people just forget, and sometimes it just doesn't go through, and that's what happens. But other than that, I mean, the report speaks for itself. We can talk about it later if you want to, but I can't talk about it in this.
All right, yeah, thank you. And one thing too, the license now, if you want to buy a license for, especially a commercial license or whatever, tell them exactly where it's at.
It's going to be at the Pass Christian check station, the Oyster check station, right there up top where you used to get the tags. You can get the licenses now. Also, I would like to say we got Labor Day rolling in, and it's going to be, I guess it'll be Sir? Normal hours, yes, sir, from 8 to 4:30 or 5, I'm not sure. But there, we have two ladies up there ready to sell some license. Yes, sir, thank you.
Good morning. I just have a real quick update on our numbers for the first half of 2025. We just like to come and show you all of the work that we're doing because so few actually get presented to you. But we want to tell you all of the work we've done in the 6 months. We had total actions of 454. 374 of those were things that we directly regulate or we review for coastal zone consistency, 52 reviews and or pre-application meetings. We had 28 violations reported in the 6 months, and I have some more details on that on the next slide. This is comparing the last 3 years just to see our numbers, how they either go up or down. They had gone down a little bit the last couple of years. We're back up this year in our number of total actions. As you see, the 28 violations, we did want to give a little bit of detail. We have some with no violations, some that were covered by after the fact permits, which means that what the person did or built met the guidelines. They just didn't get a permit first, and we were able to authorize it after the fact as it was. We had only 4 that were restored by the property owners voluntarily. That usually means they had some fill that got into the water or the marsh, and that had to be removed. And if it was marsh, we usually just let it regrow naturally. It usually comes back just fine on its own. So out of that 28, only 4 were what we would call significant violations, and none of those were even very large. They usually are like a fringe marsh, just a few feet of marsh gets impacted. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This morning, I will discuss the permit application for the Jackson County Board of Supervisors. The location of the project is between Canty Street and Comini Avenue in Pascagoula. The project is located in the General Use District. The agent assisting the county is Lisa Morrison with Neil Schaefer, and she is actually here today, just in case you guys have any questions for her. The purpose and need for the project is to improve drainage and reduce flooding for members of the community that live and travel near the project area. The county is requesting to fill coastal wetlands for drainage improvements totaling 185 square feet, which includes 10 square feet of vegetated water bottoms and 175 square feet of unvegetated water bottoms. The proposed impacts include installation of a culvert structure at Canty Street and placement of riprap around the culvert structure for stabilization. For the unavoidable impacts to coastal wetlands, the applicant is requesting a variance, which will be discussed in a later slide. There are non-wetland elements to the project that include installation of a box culvert to connect the new culvert at Canty Street and the existing culvert at Comini Avenue for rerouting of stormwater and replacement of existing sidewalk near the project area along Canty Street. This is the project location. The red star indicates where the coastal wetlands will be impacted by the culvert and riprap at Canty Street. The blue star indicates the location of the existing outfall, and this is what the proposed culvert at Canty Street will connect to at Comedy Avenue. And the yellow line shows where the non-wetland impact, the box culvert, will connect the proposed outfall and existing outfall. This map shows the receiving waters for both areas. The water body at Comedy Avenue is known as Ford Pond. Presently, Ford Pond gets inundated with stormwater runoff during rain events. The water body can only hold so much. So the stormwater from Ford Pond does eventually flow out into Lake Yazoo, but it has to pass under Ingalls before it reaches that water body. On the other hand, the proposed culvert at Canty Street will lead into Comedy Bayou, which can hold more water and leads directly into the Pascagoula River. By rerouting some of the stormwater that flows into Ford Pond to Comedy Bayou, residents in the area will experience less flooding. The proposed project is expected to reduce the flood elevation by approximately 19 to 20 inches. This slide shows the project plans. On the left side of the slide are the plans for the culvert at Canty Street. The right side of the slide shows the proposed box culverts that will connect to Comedy Avenue culverts. Because of the unavoidable impacts to coastal wetlands, the applicant has requested a variance to the Mississippi Coastal Program for filling below the mean high tide line. The county justifies the variance to the requirement by stating that there are no feasible alternative sites or construction techniques. There is significant public benefit in the activity, and a public hearing has been held. For the unavoidable impacts to unvegetated and vegetated coastal wetlands, the applicant proposes to remove and relocate the impacted tidal marsh vegetation, which is, again, approximately 10 square feet, to adjacent tidal marsh outside the construction zone. The marsh vegetation will then be spread over a 30 square foot area and allowed to regrow naturally. For the public notice and agency comments, the public notice for the project was published in the Sun Herald on July 6th, 13th, and 20th of this year. Notification of the project also appeared on our website from July 8th through July 25th. No public comments were received. A public hearing was held Thursday, July 24th, and we did receive one comment, but it was in favor of the project. Agency comments we received, DEQ submitted no comments. MDAH, that's Mississippi Department of Archives and History. This is information that I received from the agent. She said that a cultural resource survey was performed and submitted to MDAH. MDAH requested more information, and the agent responded with that additional information, and they are awaiting a final letter from MDAH. And the Mississippi Secretary of State stated that a rent-exempt lease will be required. The staff has conducted a thorough evaluation of the project based on decision factors in the Mississippi Coastal Program. The project would serve a higher public interest by improving drainage and reducing flooding for individuals that live and travel near Canty Street and Comedy Avenue in Pascagoula. Therefore, staff requests a motion that the commission recommend to the executive director to approve the requested variance and approve the permit as requested. Questions?
Looks like I like it. It looks good to me.
I'll second. Aye.
Thank you.
Good morning. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources had 24 media mentions since the July MACMR meeting. News items included Mississippi's seafood labeling law, MDMR's partnership with USM for the mobile oyster hatchery, MDMR offering the free basic seafood HACCP workshop, the live fish records, and the derelict vessels that have been removed in coastal Mississippi waters. Marine Patrol participated in the Back to School Fair in Orange Grove on August 2nd. Brianna Andrews and Jennifer Cumbus from the Grand Bay Near took part in the Citizens for a Better Grand Bay Summer Kids program at the Grand Bay Community Center on July 15th. Coastal Resources Management's Randy Wilson, Allison Faggard, and Caitlin Payne gave a presentation to the kids at the Humane Society of South Mississippi's Club Cause Summer Day Camp on July 16th. And Thomas B. Terra in Coastal Resources Management and Megan Fleming and Michaela Dixon in the Office of Marine Fisheries Finfish Bureau participated alongside MDEQ and the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks for the Pascagoula River cleanup held August 2nd. The Office of Marine Fisheries hosted USM's summer field program on marine biology careers at the Bolton Building on July 18th. Auditorium presentations were given by MDMR staff from each bureau, as well as laboratory tours and demonstrations. The Artificial Reef Bureau participated in the Mississippi Ag and Outdoor Expo July 25th through the 27th in Jackson. Bureau staff were on hand each day answering questions and distributing rules and regulations, fish roller stickers, fish posters, and other informational pieces to the public. Hatchery Bureau Director Michael Lee hosted a fish hatchery tour with the MSU Veterinary Program on August 11th. CSO Rick Burris gave a presentation to the Gulf Sea Life Scholars on August 13th at the Bolton Building. At the National American Fisheries Society meeting in San Antonio, August 10th through the 14th, Eric Geely and the Finfish Bureau presented Atlantic triple-tail migratory patterns uncovered through innovative satellite tagging method and cobia migratory patterns uncovered through innovative satellite tagging method. James Klein, also in the Finfish Bureau, presented how MREP and Mississippi Creel methodologies differentially shape harvest estimates. On July 30th, the agency cooking team served fresh Mississippi seafood to an estimated 600 guests at the Neshoba County Fair. And the Mississippi Seafood also attended the Great American Seafood Cook-Off in New Orleans on August 2nd. Chef John Davis with City Grocery in Oxford represented Mississippi after winning the Mississippi Seafood Cook-Off in May. He competed against 13 chefs from other states, and Chef John did an amazing job with his dish. However, Tennessee took home the win.
Got one for you today. Oh. So it's a conventional tackle record. It's a conger reel. The old record was 12 pounds. This new one shattered it at 30 pounds. The angler was Brandon Hogue. And if I may say so, we had a ugliest fish record. This one would definitely make the top 5. But that was the fish, and that's Brandon with the fish. As you can see, it's there in all its glory. We just need a motion to approve the new state record. Oh, yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to walk out here in just a second, but before I go, I know y'all have one other public comment here. Is Mr. Livingston here? I don't think he is. Anyway, Oyster Task Force, let's put it together. Let's get it together. If the guys, I know there's some oystermen in here and everything. Ryan, I see you. Let's get the Oyster Task Force put together. Let's get with Jason and them and let's have a meeting because we need to develop and decide what we want to do in the next few months. Right now, we don't know where we're going with this, but I tell you what, I know where we're going right now. We're going to continue doing as we've done. And so what we need to do is we need to get this task force together. And, I think that was something that we didn't do a very good job of last time. So let's try not to make that mistake twice. And let's move forward and let's get this oyster task force headed. And Jason, will y'all spearhead that? I know that we had in the past had made the statement that it was basically for them to call a meeting. Well, I want us to be proactive and call that meeting, okay? So let's move forward with that, right? Thank you.
Just state your name. Right. Captain Clarence Seymour, Ocean Springs, Mississippi, 27 years, federally permanent charter boat, and also a avid angler of the Mississippi Gulf Coast my whole life. I know everybody's kind of ready to go, but I'm gonna make it quick. I want to thank the staff of the Artificial Bureau and the executive director for all the great work they've been helping us with the artificial reef programs. It's been amazing. Inshore Reefs has been striving, but we did lose a lot of structure from Katrina that we haven't quite got to all of it yet. And I think that we meet with the fishing banks every month. So, but Emily and Travis and them keeps us up to date on all the great development. But the short story I want to really tell you all, the Mississippi Gulf Fishing Banks was established in 1969. I was 3 years old, so that was the year of Camille. They put down boxcars, Liberty ships, but it was not the state of the art equipment and the barges that we have now and old culverts. But short story is we had so many oil rigs out there back in the day. So this is what come from the old timers about reef development. We had so many oil rigs down Chandelier, off of Horn Island, and then everywhere. The reef development program kind of got pushed aside because of the shrimping industry was so demanding over the bottom. The bottom is what the shrimpers have to catch shrimp. If you see 3 to 4 shrimping boats out of Bala Battery or the Biloxi coast out off the Gulf of America right now, you're lucky. You have to look on the AIS to see exactly where they're at. So the bottom is important to them. The bottom is important to the private angler sector and anybody who wants to enjoy any inshore, offshore artificial reefs. But we're all here to thank agency for the great work they're doing. And the yard's full right now. They're waiting on funding, but it's coming. I just want everybody to know we appreciate the great work that staff and agency does. Thank you.
Well, I want to make a comment. I had the opportunity to go the other day. Gulf Fishing Banks had a fundraiser. And, Clarence brought up a good point that day. He said, we have to start investing in the next generation of people that care about artificial reef. And so thank you for the comments to the agency, but also thank you for what you are doing and Ralph and the rest of the team to try to make sure that we have investments made in the resources for the future. So thank you to y'all also.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All right.